Andrew Carnegie's rise to become the world's first steel tycoon is a quintessential rags to riches story that embodies the American dream. Born in 1835 in Dunfermline, Scotland, Carnegie came from humble beginnings. His family immigrated to the United States in 1848, settling in Allegheny, Pennsylvania when Andrew was 13 years old. The young Carnegie started working as a bobbin boy in a cotton mill, earning $1.20 per week. Carnegie's ambition and work ethic quickly became apparent as he moved up through a series of jobs. He worked as a telegraph operator and then as a railroad superintendent for the Pennsylvania Railroad Company. It was during his time at the railroad that Carnegie began making smart investments, particularly in iron and oil. In the 1870s, Carnegie recognized the immense potential of the steel industry. He founded the J. Edgar Thomson Steel Works, named after his mentor at the Pennsylvania Railroad. This marked the beginning of what would become Carnegie Steel Company, the largest and most profitable industrial enterprise in the world at the time. Carnegie's success in the steel industry was due to several key factors. First, he was an early adopter of the Bessemer process, a revolutionary method for mass-producing steel quickly and cheaply. This allowed him to produce high-quality steel at lower costs than his competitors. Carnegie implemented a strategy of vertical integration. He bought out his suppliers, including coal fields, iron ore deposits, railroad lines, and shipping companies. This allowed him to control every aspect of the steel-making process, from raw materials to transportation, further reducing costs and increasing efficiency. Carnegie was also known for his ruthless business practices. He was a fierce competitor who would often undercut his rivals on price to drive them out of business. He then bought out these struggling companies at bargain prices, further expanding his empire. One of the most controversial aspects of Carnegie's business practices was his treatment of workers. While he publicly supported workers' rights to unionize, his actions often contradicted this stance. The most infamous incident occurred in 1892 at the Homestead Steel Works, where a violent confrontation between striking workers and Pinkerton detectives resulted in multiple deaths. Although Carnegie was not directly involved in the decision-making during this strike, it severely damaged his reputation. Despite these controversies, Carnegie's success in the steel industry was undeniable. By 1900, Carnegie Steel was producing more steel than all of Great Britain. The company's success made Carnegie the richest man in the world at the time. In 1901, at the age of 65, Carnegie sold his company to J.P. Morgan for $480 million, equivalent to approximately $15 billion today. This deal created U.S. Steel, the first billion-dollar corporation in American history. After selling his company, Carnegie devoted the rest of his life to philanthropy. He believed that the wealthy had a moral obligation to use their money for the betterment of society, a philosophy he outlined in his essay, The Gospel of Wealth. Carnegie went on to donate about 90% of his fortune, funding the construction of over 2,500 public libraries around the world, as well as numerous educational institutions, concert halls, and scientific organizations. Carnegie's impact on the steel industry and American business practices was profound and long-lasting. He demonstrated the power of vertical integration and economies of scale, strategies that are still used by businesses today. His emphasis on cost-cutting and efficiency set new standards for industrial production. Carnegie's story became a symbol of the opportunities available in America during the late 19th century. His rise from poor immigrant to the world's richest man inspired countless others and helped shape the narrative of the American dream. However, Carnegie's legacy is complex. While he is remembered as a great philanthropist, he is also criticized for the harsh working conditions in his factories and his opposition to labor unions. His treatment of workers during the Homestead strike remains a black mark on his reputation. Carnegie's life and career also reflect the broader tensions of the Gilded Age, a period of rapid economic growth and industrialization in the United States. On one hand, this era saw unprecedented wealth creation and technological advancement. On the other, it was marked by extreme income inequality and often exploitative labor practices. In his later years, Carnegie became an advocate for world peace and supported various causes aimed at promoting international understanding. He established the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace in 1910, which continues to operate today as a global think tank. Carnegie's influence extended beyond business and philanthropy. He was also a prolific writer, penning several books and numerous articles on topics ranging from business and labor relations to imperialism and world peace. His autobiography, published posthumously in 1920, provides valuable insights into his life and thinking. The story of Andrew Carnegie and his steel empire is more than just a tale of business success. It's a narrative that encapsulates the dramatic changes that swept through America during the Industrial Revolution. It highlights the opportunities, challenges, and ethical dilemmas that came with rapid industrialization and wealth accumulation. Carnegie's life serves as a case study in the power of innovation, strategic thinking, and relentless ambition. His adoption of new technologies and business strategies revolutionized not just the steel industry, but American industry as a whole. At the same time, his story raises important questions about the social responsibilities of wealth and the balance between profit and worker welfare. Today, Carnegie's legacy lives on, not just in the steel industry he helped shape, but in the thousands of libraries, educational institutions, and charitable organizations that bear his name. His approach to philanthropy, focusing on creating institutions that would continue to benefit society long after his death, set a new standard for charitable giving that continues to influence philanthropists today. In many ways, Andrew Carnegie embodied the contradictions of his era. He was a man who built a vast fortune through aggressive business practices, yet gave most of it away. He was a champion of democracy and education, yet at times acted in ways that seemed to contradict these values. His life and career continue to be studied and debated by historians, economists, and business leaders, offering valuable lessons and insights for our own time. As we look back on Carnegie's story, we're reminded of the transformative power of industry and innovation, the complex relationship between business and society, and the enduring impact that one individual can have on the world. Whether viewed as a captain of industry, a robber baron, or a great philanthropist, there's no denying that Andrew Carnegie left an indelible mark on American history and the global steel industry.